Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and welcome back for another developer behind the scenes Discord stream for Ruckus Games and the Holdouts. This month, we have a very special treat for you guys. I know I say that every month because all of our developers, in my opinion, are a very special treat. I'm absolutely just sucking up to everybody right now. But so this month, we have the return of our principal concept artist, Paul Richards. Hello, Paul. How are you today?
Hello, Devin and Devin. We're going to have a third Devin, a Devon. Wow, that's going to be hard to remember.
Immediately, Devin and I started posting the Spider-Man meme at each other because it's such an uncommon name to begin with, and the fact that there's already two of us here it's crazy. I told him we should all change our server profile pictures to be different Spider-Men.
Perfect.
Anyways, let me give you guys a little bit of a quick background on Paul Richards here. I'm going to read out his bio that we have on our website because it's so beautifully crafted. Paul's novel, energetic designs have helped shape the look of Darksiders, Overwatch, and Halo franchises, with the more recent addition of Fortnite. Early employers include id Software, 3D Realms, and Raven Software. There are more, but who's counting? An irrepressible evangelist of his craft since 1997, Paul encourages observation and experimentation for expression's sake. And the collaborative art of game development, his formidable fun factor is many times multiplied. I agree to that last statement.
I have the most pretentiously written bio on the website, I guess. But, hey,
it's not
that's show business, baby.
All
right.
This stream is an hour long today. We're doing this every single Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. ET for you guys in our Discord server. If you're not already in our Discord server, we'll post the link to it in our chats on Twitch and TikTok. But we're going to be doing a total of 3 of these for you guys with Paul himself. So he's got some fun stuff planned for you. But while we're doing these streams, you can ask any questions that you would like about game development to Paul, about, concept art, indie game development, what is he eating for dinner? What's his first memory? I don't know. His social security number, maybe not that one, but, ask him anything and we're happy to answer. And Paul has a fun plan for you guys for these 3 streams. So
yeah, I have materials. I have an outline. I prepared.
I'm so proud of you. That's awesome.
Thank you. You guys gave me good heads up on this, and I've attended the other streams. Dia Hadley's and Scott's. So I've kind of seen how these go, and I kind of want to pick up right where we left off in the last one. Those of you who were at Scott Kester's last one might remember that we were on the verge of combining 2 of our little in-game elements. This little roving robot that kind of goes around and shoots at things and does your bidding. And we have these little fellows running around the game. Those who've play tested are well familiar, tentatively called squibs, that Scott combined into this freakish A Clockwork Orange inspired monstrosity that you see up here in this corner. So before launching into our little demonstration proper today, I just wanted to show you guys where that was at. So Scott will kind of get something to about kind of where he's interested in it, and we will take the elements that he's put forth and turn them in all directions. And it's just kind of taking the information on one and mapping them over to the other views, so that when a modeler gets a hold of it, they don't have to scratch their head and go okay, what's it look like from the back? What's it look like from the side? We 360 it. And I'm at a point in the process that I like to call clearing the dungeon, which is just kind of going from region to region, where I've kind of blocked in an underdrawing, which you see really lightly here, and just going in and refining. And then I put, kind of like a pink field. And when the image is all pink, the dungeon is cleared, and I can move on to the next phase, which is coloring. But yeah, that's just about kind of how this dude's going. He looks sufficiently agonized. I don't know if I've gotten the abject terror that I see in Scott's original. So through the course of finishing this, I'm going to try to find some of that back. But, with that kind of out of the way, and a little bit of storytelling from the previous session linked over to this one, I wanted to get into sort of the discussion proper. And I thought an interesting thing to do today for the purpose of this demonstration would be to revisit, again, those of you who've been playing the beta have seen these guys running around, and you have to kind of save them from various states of peril, and they've been kitted out with different little things to stand in for different kind of roles that we've got coming up. But one of the things that we do is kind of build off of what we've done before. So if it ever came time where we needed to populate our town with more of these people, I've just kind of gone across and shown how I've sort of scrubbed in some new heads over the old heads. And the demonstration today is we're going to be doing some of these guys in real time. I wanted to open up. I started with this guy here, who's kind of a hairier, Ron Swanson-ier version of our like bald NPC, and give him some more junk. So what I'll have here,
the Ron Swanson reference there. That's so great.
You know, Lena, my wife, has been taking me through those. I know Jonathan Fawcett's a fan. It was a blind spot for me. So I've just been kind of, in our game, which is a T-rated game, I don't think you could have a true corncob pipe. Those would need to be bubbles or something. But I just wanted to show you just kind of how, like, the kind of non-destructive way that we'll sort of build on some of the previous stuff that we've done. I think I had just sort of like, you're starting off the bones of the old design and just trying to create something new over top. And then I think on this old lady, I had experimented with different kinds of noses and different kinds of ears. I was going to say that as we examine this lineup, which was provided to me by our principal character modeler guy, Kevin Penrod, you can see that they are all kind of like at different angles from each other. And I thought this was an interesting way to explain kind of how artists come at like little headshot things like this. And by doing a little thing which I call projected symmetry. If you can imagine just a plane, kind of like the way that you see up here, just kind of like bisecting their heads. And you can imagine points on either side. These little symmetry exercises are kind of like, as soon as you do something over here, that point appears on the opposite side of the window glass. And you are trying to kind of figure out like how close they are together. And this is sort of how people who have my kind of illustrative role will get through stuff like this. I had kind of put together a few other examples where you can sort of see how one side of the head is kind of maybe solved and then the other is sort of duped over. Just various people of various carriages. Here we have a zombie. Awesome. And that's kind of why we do this sort of like onion skinned kind of thing, where you take, the faint outline of the earlier version, that's there in the background, kind of suggesting things to you, like we've done this, but over the top of that, we could go this way or that way. Here, I'm showing you just briefly kind of like, once you've done like one head like this, how you can use like little ruler marks and do like little turns. And then from there, kind of like decrease and increase the amplitudes of certain kind of curves. Like I've got his nose kind of pinched up and his mouth back and the eyes brought forward versus here it's like more deeply set. I want to enact all of these things for you in a proper demonstration, hopefully kind of looping in more of kind of like this emotional kind of expressive stuff.
This is so awesome. I love the bit where you had just like scribbles on and you started based off of those like general shapes, because it reminds me of when you look at like a wood grain panel or like a marbling and you can kind of see faces into them, or or like even just looking at clouds and you can you see something forming out of the clouds. It's kind of like a paper exercise of just that visual thing that your eyes tend to do, where your brain tries to put faces in things, Yeah,
it's one of my favorite things to do. It's like, the official word is like pareidolia, which has a complicated spelling that I always get wrong on the first time.
I didn't even want to try and like remember what that word was.
It's cloud seeing. It's like seeing, you look at a socket on the wall and it looks like a face. You see the two eyes and the mouth and it looks like it's looking at you. And human beings are, they're pattern recognizers. So as soon as we are aware that there's some kind of like invisible symmetry plane going on in one of these, but assuming a symmetry plane kind of like what we saw there, and assuming we have this like glop here, I like to warm up usually with some kind of like monster, because like human faces. Devin, you were saying it's like a 3/4 human face. That's kind of a hard thing to do. A lot of us have like the front profile nailed, but then as soon as the head starts turning in space, it's like, watch out.
Yeah.
Arithmetic and all that stuff. But like again, so if we were to sort of imagine there being kind of like an invisible plane cutting through here, and we're kind of sort of like loosely keying over this like molasses in the background, that's going to start to just, and then we also in addition have like this like lady in the background that is kind of, these lines are also sort of suggesting things. We could go from like, okay, well, we'll maybe like scrub in an eye. Let's do a monster, right? So we'll do a typical angry face monster. So eye on one side, eye on the other. We just like dupe it straight over. Blah blah blah. Blah. It's down. This big line down here is suggesting like a big huge troll nose to me. So I'm just gonna like loop that in right away, like while the thought is fresh, right? And as you're looking through these things, you'll probably see stuff like I immediately see kind of almost like a big Popeye jaw, where I had that corncob pipe in that guy before. I'm just gonna, there we go. There's like the little G-rated friendly bubble versions of his little corncob pipe. But like right away, you sort of see how how this kind of works. And I'm maybe like doing some things like here. It's like this isn't cloned over because like I'm kind of trying to convey that this part of the jaw is higher than the other part. But this is kind of how it goes. And I could try to loop in more of these details. I said it was a monster. Now I'm kind of thinking it's like, this is kind of the troll or something. And who's to say that at some point in the future, the holdouts won't have trolls?
Over on Twitch chat, Celestial Pangu says, "Holy cup, Devin, gotta stay hydrated." This is our official Ruckus Games cup, by the way. This is like exclusive for us dev team members because we're really cool. But this is just a normal sized cup. This is only 8 ounces. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So, question for you. I remember when I was doing like art classes and everything, one of the techniques that was taught to me for, doing these 3/4 turns and symmetry and everything with faces. I know this doesn't quite work with our style here 1-to-1. This is more of like a how to draw anime and manga type of style, but they would have you draw like a circle and then you would draw the like a plus in the middle of it going across it, and that was your quarter, like the center of the face where the cheeks were going to align, and then that's what you would use to like also kind of arch it and turn it, like making it 3D, if that makes sense to you. Am I making any sense? I feel like
it's a pretty like the word that I like to use is it's like armatures, right? They'll usually be like, okay, it's sort of like there's like there's one kind of oval that goes this way, and then there's one oval that kind of goes this way, and they kind of bisect each other. But then in both versions, you got that center line. People like me who are kind of like, been doing this for a while can sort of like internalize that stuff. They can kind of sort of that mass conception is a thing that's thought and not actually down on the paper. So, what I was explaining to you before about like having like the grist underneath, having the ghostly image of the last iteration, or the little squiggly lines or whatever to kind of like help you, or like the plane that you put stuff on either side of. These are all kind of like imagined armatures that you can kind of like load in and use to kind of like govern what you're doing. But, I still need them. Like I still need to find center. Like it's like, the more drastic these views get, the more complicated they are, the more you really have to know, that a nose is basically like, a modified wedge. and it's essentially like that. And so and then you realize that eyes are inset into these like holes in our heads, and so you remember them as round things, and kind of like I guess based on a skull, if we were to skullify this thing, Ruckus's mascot is a skull. If we could just do that really quick, it helps to kind of have some idea of sort of like the basic anatomy, and kind of like, oh, there's like a jawbone down here, and it connects up like that. See,
Oh,
now
it's
we've
like
made
an
an
innate
old
thing
man.
that's I love that. When I was in middle school and I was going through my anime phase, and all I was doing was just drawing all my favorite characters and everything. I couldn't do hands, so everybody would just have their hands behind their back.
Yes, feet get placed behind rocks, or
Yep. Tucked behind each other.
yeah, there's fog, ground fog obscuring that. Very, very convenient. Like, this is the kind of thing I would be doing just for fun.
Yeah.
If I wasn't, getting paid by Ruckus Games to do it. This is what I do in airports. I can kind of 23s could do a variety of faces from the hip, because I've encountered so many of these specimens in the wild. I'm kind of writing what I know,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that I was just like, what for this demonstration could I do that would be familiar enough and leisurely enough that I could hold a conversation with you like this and not feel like bogged down by really, really complicated design problems. Because what I was showing you earlier with this, this is a complicated design. Almost everything that we do in the holdouts that's like crafting based, you who've played the demo know, there's a lot of stuff getting combo with a lot of other stuff. So it's a lot of complicated, interactions and things kind of weaving around and things like hooked up into. This is not the kind of thing that I would feel comfortable coming on a stream like this and trying to tackle. But this is like a comfortable, sauna, day spa kind of thing. Like,
It's a
this
nice,
is
warm, cozy blanket to sink
it's
into.
it's pure pleasure, and like
Yeah.
I'm gonna just now kind of casually gender bend this NPC.
We got a couple questions in chat and
Sure,
comments, so let me
go
let me
ahead.
catch up on here. Rock D says, "Just want to say that I'm also a concept artist, and I've been a huge fan of Paul work since my school days. After more than 10 years in the industry, I still feel super inspired every time I look at Paul's work."
Aw,
That was just a
thank
nice
you.
comment. All right, next one. Aldatsu says, "Hello. When making concepts, do you look for a quote feel you want people to see/capture? How do you reach it, even if it's bizarre?"
Well,
That's a loaded question.
well,
That's
but I do have an answer, and I think it's probably the similar answer that maybe Scott's given in past one of these streams, is that you're just kind of you're trying to kind of work close to your experience, close to your nervous system. You're trying to enjoy it yourself, so that you, as patient zero, are like if I want this lady that I'm drawing to look like she's got the hots for me, maybe I want her to like look in my direction a little bit. Maybe for me that makes the experience more pleasurable. Now it's like she's like looking at me going like, oh hey, and so again, I'm patient zero. That little change did something. By the way, teeth are lighter. As soon as you know that you've entered into a lighter territory, just make it that. I'm probably not going to veer into color too much, because that adds a few more juggling pins. The motion that I'm just trying to go for, not to sound too pompous, is just like fun and energetic and whimsical. I'm trying to channel the kind of person that I hoped to be, but inside that is all this like neurosis and nervous energy, and a desire to please, a desire to perform. And so I'm trying to wrap all of me and leverage as much of that into my work, even the bad stuff. I'm trying to make it so that there's no division between what I'm doing and who I am, so I don't have to put on the skin of another person. I'll try to channel as best I can a lot of Scott's energy, but Scott and I are quite akin, and we have this mutual respect, and we're not entirely different people, so that helps a lot in terms of not having to fight against natural instincts. But that would be my response, is that, like, to thine own self be true.
It's funny. We were just saying in Scott's stream too that like now when I go to thrift stores, I look for like retro objects, like things from the 80s and stuff. And at first thought is, how can I make that deadly? And that's just finding the inspiration to like continually hit you from all directions when you're working on a project like this is it sticks with you. And you kind of find mediums and things like that to surround yourself with. I've been finding myself watching a lot more older movies too and looking at things more. Steve says, insecurity might say, but other people might not find this funny, hot, scary the way that you do, but it doesn't matter. You're your best emotional barometer, and don't let fear hold you back. Fear is the biggest. I always feel like fear is the one thing that will sabotage you more than anything else. It's the fear of, well, what if I'm not telling it correctly or conveying it the way that I want it to be in this tone? So I try it a different way, but
Sure.
it just sabotages you. You just got to get it out. And it's like
Yeah.
what Paul and Scott have been saying. You just have to do it first. Like, do it sloppy, just get it done, and then go back.
It does introduce a level of kind of additional difficulty when your job is coming up with different permutations of things. You see the multiverse. So how do you make a choice? All that one can hope is that the team that you're working with will help like limit you down. And this is a constant volley back and forth, between you and your respective lead. Again, we've had a lot of really great collaboration around here through the kind of the departments, particularly on our own team. Stuff gets kind of tossed around. We're trading, files back and forth. This is getting scrubbed out, and we're not really overly precious about it. We all like the satisfaction of making a really pretty finished piece of art, but until you've kind of figured everything out in broad strokes, there's really no point in doing that. And the only people that are really going to see it, with the exception of streams like this, are people that are going to like look at your portfolio later on ArtStation, which is a very small amount of people. The end user of your product is just playing the game, and they have no clue what went into the formation of some of these things, so they'll never know what you knew. But taking a decision easier when you've got deciders, and
Exactly.
also when you've got like an array of options. And so that's kind of like what made me repel from this, like why did I flee from this? Well, I think it's because it's the hair. If I was going to be honest with myself, even though I applied it very kind of like confidently and without fear, there's just something about it that doesn't sit right. So I might just go ahead and just scrub it all out or work on top. That little voice inside your head is what you're trying to listen to first and foremost.
Uh, let's see. Scott says Zach Kreger's quote elf draft is a great way to think if you haven't seen this, and then he linked it. I actually just watched that the other day. He's referencing that was the writer for Barbarian, I believe, the movie. And he was saying that when he's writing, he pretends that he like hires a little elf to write the first draft, and it's that elf's job to just get it done and just complete it and finish it, and that's their only responsibility. And then his responsibility is to go clean up what the elf did afterwards and like make it pretty and refine it and things like that. And that was I liked his way of viewing it too. It was fun.
In games, we have these things called producers that are meant to kind of hold our feet to the fire and say, "Hey, it's Tuesday. Where's the thing? We
Yeah.
agreed on Tuesday." And it's like sometimes it's done when it's like you run out of time.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Especially
Steve earlier has the stream that he does like multiple times a week, so he's beholden to his audience to do that. And again, even if he's not really feeling like doing it on the day, he's going to thrash through it because it's expected. It's like, well, it's non-negotiable.
all right, we have probably about 13-15 minutes left in the stream now, so I think this is a good time for us to go ahead and start our Ruckus Games hat giveaway that we have. So this is for only the people watching in Discord right now. Paul, what should our word be for the giveaway?
We'll just be bog standard and say shape.
Type
Shape.
the word shape in chat, and I'll read out the names as I see them in here, so you guys know that I have your entry in here. All All right, so we've got just a few minutes left into our stream today. What are your last minute questions that you guys have for Paul? And we will be picking this back up again next week on Tuesday. So
Yeah, I can get into what we're going to do next week. I think what I think we should do is, just as we've been kind of hitting up these NPCs and kind of adding random stuff to them to show you kind of how we change that up. I was thinking next week we'll do it with environments. We'll find a hallway somewhere in the game that needs some like gross alien gack or some kind of obstruction, and we'll just like play around with like completely defiling our environments with alien glob.
Nice. Alien block.
Yeah. Block. And on week 3, I don't know what. We'll make it up as we go.
We thought for sure that the first stream with Scott was going to be nothing but butts, because he said he was going to draw nothing but butts, but I think we only got one butt during that entire stream. So
maybe kind of false advertising. Stream. Yeah. You want me to do like an all butt stream? Yeah, I'm sure that would be our most popular stream.
Skellybot is going insane because our moderator UXO guy made it so every time you say butt in Discord, he just replies to you and goes, huh, butt. I don't know when he did it, but now he's just having fun with it.
One of the best things that I ever heard any artist describe in terms of their process, and I'm trying to get something in for you at the 11th hour here, is this artist named Garrett Hanna that I know, and he said, anything goes at any time. So just because you've got your line art established, just because you've got some tones already down, the thing can change on a dime. And if you're lucky enough to be working in a suite like Photoshop with this wonderful equipment that I'm using, even if you're doing it on paper, just like mercilessly use that eraser and just try stuff, because I think this is where my bliss comes from, is in that little kind of, I'm constantly showing people kind of the on-off alterations of things as I'm working, because for every choice I make, there's a billion more that I don't, and sometimes I want to let people in on where I've been, and because who knows what it might trigger, right? A thought that I think is completely useless to me, Scott or somebody else might scoop that up and be like, no, this is the thing. This is worthy. We should pursue this. So hopefully, if you take nothing else away from this talk, it's that.
A lot of the things that you say and like talk about when we're talking about art remind me of this book that I picked up recently called The Artist's Way. Have you ever heard of that?
I've got a copy in my bathroom back there. Yeah.
I had a feeling you did. I've only just started it, but so far it's been pretty inspiring. I guess the long short of it is finding a way to reinvigorate your creative energies in life by completely embracing the fact that your creative energy is what drives you and like makes you essentially. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting so far out of it.
Right.
Granted,
this is the Betty Edwards book, right? The classic. Yeah. You can find it in any bookstore in the country, along with like War of Art, stuff like that. Or like there's a million of those, like little motivational tomes. But
I have the journal part of it too, and I'm gonna try to do it and try to stick to it. I keep telling myself that I'm gonna go through it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I wish I could stay here all day with you guys and do this, but I think we're running up against the clock. So did we have any last minute questions or announcements that you wanted to make?
Let's see. So announcements. We'll have our next 2 play tests for next week announced tomorrow, and invites will be going out for those as well. If you play tested with us previously, as always, you're always if we have any open seats and we need additional players to jump in and fill in for groups, we always ask you guys if you would like to join us again. So we'll give you guys updates on that. Our next stream with Paul again here is on Tuesday again, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be continuing on our adventures here with the character exploration. And then other than that, we are continuing our playtests of doing twice a week for the foreseeable future. So if you have not had a chance to play with us yet, if you haven't been invited, keep an eye out in your email. Invites are going out every single week. So there's plenty of opportunities. And also, I'm not very stingy. If you haven't gotten an invite to playtest and you're in our Discord server and you want to playtest, say, Devin, send me an invite to the next one and I'll do it. So.
Yeah,
All right,
big
guys.
thanks to you, Devin, and also King. You guys did such a great job in the community playtests and hosting these things. Your efforts aren't unnoticed. You're gracious hosts, and I can't wait for next week.
Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And also we really appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk with us about art and show us behind the scenes and everything. We know that you're very busy as well. And it really means a lot for us to have like this behind the scenes look at your process and the game development, and just being able to talk with the team behind the holdouts too has been really awesome for our players, especially. I don't see too many others, not to be pretentious, but I don't see too many other studios doing this kind of one-on-one interaction with their communities as often as we do. And it's something that I'm very proud of that we've been doing. So thank you guys again for all of your time today. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week, and we'll be sending out more playtest invites tomorrow. So keep an eye out in your inbox. In the meantime, if you have not wish listed the holdouts yet on Steam, please do so. You have no idea how much it helps our team. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbor, tell the stray cat that lives down the street. Tell everybody. Let them know. The holdouts.
Coming soon.
That's our commercial. The holdouts.
Thanks again, everybody.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.